You want to really show a client from the get-go that you are in charge, it's not your first rodeo, and that you can handle their project. And the best way to do that is by being super duper organized from the very beginning.
All right. I'm Rebecca Hay, and I've built a successful interior design business by trial and error, podcasts, online courses, and so many freaking books. Over the last decade, I've grown from an insecure student to having false starts to careers, and now I'm finally in the place where I want to be. Throughout my journey, it's been pretty obvious that I'm passionate about business and helping other entrepreneurs do the same. Each week, I'll share tangible takeaways from my own experience and the experiences of other badass women to help you build your confidence and change your business.
Hey, it's Rebecca, and you are listening to Resilient by Design. In today's episode, I am walking you through my exact onboarding process. And this is the one process that I think every business needs. Every design firm owner needs to start by establishing an onboarding process. It is a step-by-step, and I'm going to also direct you to a few extra additional resources in this episode that will help you get this done so that you can starting every project strong and hopefully ensuring that you convert those inquiries, those new leads into clients. Here you go. I hope you guys enjoy my onboarding process. Okay, well, welcome to the podcast. I am very excited for today because I want to talk about process, but specifically the one thing that I think every design firm owner needs to implement before anything else inside their process. And that is onboarding. How you start a project is basically going to determine the entire relationship with your client during that project. And so I'm just going to pull up my checklist that we follow because today what I want to do is I want to walk you through my exact onboarding process that we use to onboard new clients into our design firm and show you actually what I've recently decided to change. I just think that the onboarding process is really the most important part because that's where you get to know your client. That's where you set expectations. And that is where you take charge to show your client how things are going to be. So let me dive right into, I'm just using Asana. I'm just opening it up and I'm going to actually walk you guys through what we do. I thought I had done this on the podcast, but it turns out I guess I haven't. I'm like, how have I not talked about this? Maybe I've talked about it, but maybe just not in as much detail. I'm not entirely sure. And apologies if you guys hear a little bit of sound. There's somebody still in my house walking around the hallway. So hopefully this will not pick that up. Okay, the onboarding process. Here's why it's the most important. When you jump into a project and you don't have a process or you're not confident in how you're going to run the project, it's going to set a tone for this potential client that maybe you're not the professional that they need. It's going to set a tone that maybe you aren't really going to take the reins. And so you want to really show a client from the get-go that you are in charge, it's not your first rodeo, and that you can handle their project. And the best way to do that is by being super duper organized from the very beginning. And again, I'm going to say this again. If you haven't done anything else, even if you don't have a process yet, maybe you're waiting to sign up for Power Process. It's coming back this September, but like maybe you're waiting for that. So you're like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything until I take the course. Don't. I mean, yes, take the course, but don't wait to start implementing. The very first thing that I want you to do is to build out an onboarding process. Pull out a piece of paper and a pen, open a Google Doc, and start typing down what is your process from the moment somebody reaches out to you. And you guys know that I share a lot of resources for free. You can download them on my website. There's actually 2 of our free resources are directly related to the onboarding process. So they are there to support you And that is where you want to focus all of your energies at the very beginning so that your client relationship starts strong and that you're also protecting yourself by making sure the client understands everything with the contract, with how you're going to work, what's the billing structure. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to walk you through the steps that fall inside our onboarding process. It is pretty straightforward, but I think it's helpful to sometimes hear how other people do it. And maybe you already have an onboarding process, but you're like, I wouldn't mind just hearing how Rebecca does it. So here we go. Oh, before I dive in actually to the process, I have a note here for myself just to highlight a few other episodes of the podcast that if this topic interests you, you would find these other episodes beneficial. One of the great episodes is an early episode, is episode number 22 with Thalia Toha. And in that one, Thalia talks about why the experience you deliver to your clients matters more than the product. And that directly ties into how you kickstart a project. So go listen to episode 22 if you need a little bit more convincing on the experience of that first point of contact. And then episode 15. I mean, I know these are oldies but goodies, but there's a reason some of the first episodes I ever recorded on this podcast were about business process, because I feel really passionate as a design firm owner that establishing steps in my business that are repeatable, that I do every time a client reaches out, has led to success in business. And so I love to give back and share with other design firm owners how I do it so that they can maybe do it in a shorter time frame than I've done. And I've had to figure all this shit out on my own. Okay, so here we go. The very first thing that happens in our process is when a client first reaches out to us. So that could be via email. They could be filling out a form on our website, or that could be via telephone. They call our studio, or it could just be like a direct call, cold email. Maybe someone has heard about us from someone, or even an Instagram DM. I'm going to tell you that no matter how somebody reaches out to us, I always direct them to fill out the form on our website. What we do is say, thank you so much for, reaching out to us. We're really excited to hear more about your design desires or your design project, and would love it if we could fill this out. We can learn a little bit more about you. And so we'll do that. If someone maybe a little bit closer and we're like, we feel weird about sending them to the website, what we will do is we will just skip right to that first email. So once people have contacted us, we send them the link to the form, or they've already filled out the form on the website, which I can tell you is the majority of people. If you're curious what that form looks like, just head on over to my website, RebeccaHayDesigns.com. Happy to answer questions about that specifically inside Designer Meetup's Facebook group. If you guys are a member there, we can chat about it. But essentially, it's a basic form that helps me understand their investment, like what is the budget they're prepared to spend on the project, what type of project it is, where they heard about me or how they found me, so the referral source, and a little bit more information about their project and what their goals are. And so once they fill that out, what happens is a member of my team, it is not me anymore, a member of my team has a canned email response. And by canned email, I mean like a templated email that they reply with an attachment. And that canned email will be personalized. So if someone says, we're building a cottage, obviously, my assistant will go in and say, oh, building a cottage is so excited. We love working on cottages. And then boom, 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 canned email. We attach a PDF document that we call our About Us document. It's called Working with Rebecca Hay Designs. Some people in the industry might call it an investment document. To be honest, I don't actually love that term, because I don't feel like it's that descriptive. It's more like, hey, here, you want to learn a little bit more about us? I just think let's call spade a spade. That's what it is. You want to know about us? Here's our deal. And that PDF, I share all of this inside Power of Process, by the way. So if you're curious what all this looks like, you should join us in the fall. But it is a PDF that's several pages long that gives them a little bit of a breakdown of who we are, our ethos, sort of our core values, types of projects that we work on. We have testimonials from clients in there, and we have a breakdown of our process. So we say, here's what happens next, and here's how we calculate our design fee. There is no mystery. It's all in that document. We attach that and we ask them to have a look at this, and we look forward to scheduling a discovery call. And then we also give them a couple dates and times that work for a call. Ideally, the person gets the email, reads the PDF, and books a discovery call. But hold on one second. Sometimes we hear nothing after we send that, like crickets, like, doop, doop. Oh yeah, remember? There was that really promising job. They never emailed us back. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Ghosting. So we have an email sequence that we have created that has sort of some rules associated with it, meaning that if you haven't heard from the client in 2 days, send this follow-up email. If we still haven't heard, a week later, send this, and then send this final email, I don't know, a month later or something like that, so that we can stay top of mind. Because what happens sometimes is when people are quote unquote ghosting you, sometimes what it really is they're just freaking busy. And maybe they got really hot and bothered and excited about their reno or their new build. They reached out to some designers, and then, oh shoot, shit hit the fan at work, or their kids got sick, or it's the end of the school year and all of a sudden they're packing for summer camp. Like, don't presume to understand what a client is going through until you know them. It's quite possible it has nothing to do with you. I know sometimes we get really caught up in like, oh my God, did I scare them off with my pricing? Or maybe I should have just called them. Don't sweat the times when people just don't respond. And sometimes they're just fishing and they just want to know more, and they want to know what you charge, and they're going to peace out. And that is totally fine. Don't waste any energy thinking about that. Okay. I don't have a table to put my water on, so I'm like reaching down to the floor today. Goodness. When do you think I'll have a podcast proper recording studio? Let's all take a wager. 2024, 2025. Holy heck. I keep waiting to like move to a bigger house where I'll have my own office and I can record there. But I should just bite the bullet and turn my studio space, find a corner, turn it into recording, and just call it a day. That's what I want. Anyways, we digress. Okay, so that's really the first touch point. And then I think it's really important to share how you calculate your fees, even if it's just a ballpark, so that you can pre-qualify your clients. I think it's important to pre-qualify clients because otherwise you could get everyone under the sun reaching out to you, and it's a waste of your time, it's a waste of their time, and it's just not the right fit. So once the client says, yep, thank you, that's really great, I'd like to book a discovery call, we give them 2 dates and times. And then we put a sentence that says, if neither of these works for you, feel free to find another time that suits your calendar. What I like about this, and I learned this from a coach, I think, on our podcast, I don't remember who, but what I really like about this is it gives them a more personalized approach as opposed to here, book a time via this link. There is something about someone just giving you the actual time in an email that feels so much more personalized and like they actually are excited to talk to you. Now, I do like having the link though, because it eliminates a lot of that back and forth. Because what if someone looks at those 2 days and they're like, oh shoot, I'm on vacation that week. You could potentially start an email chain or thread that could go on forever about trying to find dates that work. And that's how I used to do it. And it just didn't feel as professional. It was very time sucking. So we don't do that anymore. Then once the client confirms or just books in Calendly, that's the app we use for their discovery call, we will send them a little thank you. We look forward to chatting, and it gets put into our Google Calendar, and a Google invite is sent to the client. Then we have a discovery call, and that is me. It's usually 30 minutes, and I have a script. I'm not going to walk through that here today because it's a free resource that anyone can download from my website. Just go to RebeccaHay.com/discovery, and you can download the exact checklist and script that I use for that call. That call is really important. So download that script, study it, add to it, edit it. I've had so many design firm owners reach out to me and say, oh my goodness, I used your script. I took it, I tweaked it. What a game changer. I landed my biggest project to date. I noticed red flags that I totally didn't notice before. It is a really powerful first step in your relationship. First of all, by you scheduling the call and not just taking it on the fly, you look more professional. Also, you are more prepared. You can be ready with a checklist, with a script, ready to take notes. And when you're driving in the car and someone calls and you try to walk them through how your business goes, you're going to forget something because you're being reactive. And when you're reactive, your brain is just trying to quickly connect all the dots while possibly you're in the middle of doing another task. I highly recommend that even if someone calls you on the phone, you say, great, I would love to. I'm just about to go into a meeting, or just make anything up. It doesn't matter. Say, I would love to chat with you. Can we set up a time that works next week? You could either pick the time on the phone, or you could say, listen, what's your email? I'll send you an email with a couple dates. It looks so much more professional. Also, when you set up a discovery call, it shows them that you're in high demand, right? And your time is valuable. And so it's not like you're just sitting at home all day waiting for the phone to ring. And even if you are, they don't need to know that. So book the discovery call, have that call. Biggest, most important part of that discovery call is educating them on your process and your fee structure. Because, and yes, most of it is listening to them and hearing about their project, but I feel like that goes without saying. You are missing an opportunity to set expectations if you don't talk about how you like to work and how you charge for your services. It's just the reality. You need to put it all out there, because this is how we pre-qualify to attract those ideal clients. If you aren't giving clients enough information to make an educated decision, then it's going to be, another one of those clients that I'm like, I got another budget-friendly client. I'm back in that budget-friendly client loop. You guys know what I'm talking about. At the end of the discovery call, that's when you are selling your consultation, which is our next step. And again, this is my process. You don't have to follow it, although I will tell you that it works. We offer up a consultation date either on the phone or we'll follow up with an email. Sometimes clients will say, well, that sounds really great. I just need to talk to my husband first, or it's a really busy time right now at work. I will circle back, or great, can you have your assistant send me an email with some potential dates? Let's get it in the books. And so what happens is then I tag my assistant in Asana with what we use, but you could do it just on a piece of paper and say, okay, here's the next step. Here's what you got to do. And we email that client to book a consultation. Now, a consultation is paid, which means in order to confirm the consultation, we need receipt of payment. So we will send them an email saying, well, we're really looking forward to the consultation with you. In the body of the email is a bit of information about what the consultation entails with the price, and lets them know that, payment is required to confirm your consultation date and time. We'll confirm the consultation date and time via email. We send them an invoice for the amount. We charge, at the current time of this recording, I charge $750 plus tax for my 2-hour consultation. We send them that invoice, they pay it, and then we confirm the calendar invite. We send them a calendar invite, and then we send them a PDF via email once they've paid and it's booked. We call them internally, I call it a what to expect document. It's a 1-page PDF just telling you how to prepare for the consultation and here's what you can expect. So that when I show up at their door, they don't have kids running around screaming. They've found babysitting. They don't have any distractions. They're prepared. They know to give me at least an hour of their time. Some consultations do not last the whole 2 hours, and that is fine by me. They know that we are not going to have any quote unquote deliverables. I'm not doing floor plans and giving them a shopping list. They know that the consultation is meant to kickstart the design project, troubleshoot, bounce ideas, find out if we're the right fit, sort of like the first step in dating. And after that, I will put together a fee proposal. And so the only deliverable is a proposal for our design services. That is really important. You don't have to create a PDF like we do, but you need to let them know in the discovery call, what a consultation delivers, and probably also in the email.
All right, designers, here's my little insider resource. I have been using this furniture company forever. They make every single one of our handcrafted custom dining tables, furniture, vanity, wall units, you name it. Abacus Furniture has been in business since 1973, and they do handcrafted custom furniture one piece at a time. It is all made right here in Toronto. If you are looking for anything custom, look no further and give Abacus a shout. Or even better, you can visit their factory showroom and get a tour of the wood shop. It's super cool. From a sketch or even just a photo, Abacus can build your custom furniture and bring your creative design vision to life and make it one of a kind. I have used Abacus in all of my past projects, so I would highly recommend that you give them a shout. You can find them at abacusfurniture.com or send Kelly an email at kelly@abacusfurniture.com and let her know that I sent you.
I always say, repeat it early and often to establish expectations, to set expectations. In order to set accurate expectations with your client, you need to repeat yourself early and often, which is why I say talk about price from the get-go, talk about your process, talk about the payment schedule, talk about anything that you think or you've experienced as a firm owner in the past has been a point of contention. Right? You want to get that conversation out into the open early on so there's no awkward, oh, shoot, I didn't tell them that I'm not taking them shopping with me. And now they want to meet me at the furniture store. I don't know. How do I say no? Right? So many questions that I get from designers inside Power of Process are things like that. Like, well, this is where I'm at with the client. What do I do? And as much as I try to coach the designers through that time, I also in my mind, and I vocalize it, often say, oh, if only you had set that expectation before, this wouldn't happen. So for next time, we've learned. So set those expectations early and often. Okay, so we book a consultation. Typically, we book consultations 2 weeks out. And it's not that I don't have time before then. I mean, probably I don't, but it's usually because I like to plan ahead and have my calendar and not feel chaotic and like, oh my God, I have a consultation tomorrow. Oh my God, Monday I have a consultation. And it also makes me look like I'm in high demand. And I mean, 2 weeks out is not that far for someone to plan ahead. Most professionals are planning their calendars ahead. Also, we do not do consultations on the evenings and weekends, only during work hours. And that is made very clear. Actually, in fact, people don't ask anymore about that. And if they do follow up in an email and ask, we just write back and say, Rebecca's not available evenings and weekends. What that also does is that sets a precedent. It sets an expectation early on that we're not going to be working with you at 7:00 at night. We're definitely not going to be showing up to your house on the weekend unless it's an emergency. And we're not going to be responding to emails. You need to set boundaries from the very beginning of your working relationship with this potential client. Okay, so we've scheduled the consultations, we've had our discovery call, we've scheduled a consultation. The next step is to prepare for the consultation. Lucky for you, I have another freebie. It is my consultation checklist. If you have not downloaded that by now, my gosh, what are you waiting for? Go get it. It's at RebeccaHay.com/consultation. Guys, I'm giving you almost everything you need with this podcast episode and those 2 freebies. You can set up an onboarding process. Like there's no excuse. Listen to the podcast, download the 2 freebies, take a pen and pencil and start writing out the things that you want to do from the moment someone reaches out to you. And you are on your way to developing a process in your business. Like this is what it is. This is what Power of Process is built on, is all about. It's taking a process and applying it to everything you do. Okay, so get off my soapbox. Download the consultation checklist. You will see that there are parts of that tell you how to prepare and what to bring. So we have a list of what you should bring to the consultation. We like to bring a folder with the printer-friendly version of that About Us document. So we're working with Rebecca Hay Designs, and a postcard and a business card. It's a nice, lovely branded folder. It literally just has a sticker. It's a Rebecca Hay Design sticker. Like I did not get fancy and emboss folders. You can do it if you want. I think the leave behind should be equal to the type of client and expectation that you want. So if you're trying to up level, you might want to have one of those embossed folders. When you're starting out, you don't need that. Just make it look really nice. So we have that ready to go. I have a consultation bag that's always packed, and at the door, it has a tape measure, it has a laser measure, it has a notepad, it has trying to think what else it has. I have a copy of my contract, a blank copy of my contract, and I bring all of that with me to the consultation. The consultation there's an incredible episode that I think it's incredible that I recorded a little while back. I'm going to tell you, you can go listen to that. So I'm not going to walk through that today. Episode number 62. So episode 62 is called Consultations That Convert. And I walk you through my exact step-by-step process of running a consultation. So if you guys are curious, episode 62 is the one for you. Yes. Okay. So after the consultation, at the end, we set their expectation to let them know when they can expect to hear from us. And a new thing, this is the thing that I want to change. So listen up. Traditionally, historically, I have just sent the proposal via email within 48 to 72 hours. However, sometimes you get ghosted and you're kind of waiting. And you don't know if you're going to hear from them. And then maybe you hear from them weeks or even months later, and you're like, well, I mean, I don't have time for this project anymore. Like I had time 3 months ago, but how do I tell them? And that proposal that I gave them, like, shoot, I've upped my fees. It's all that awkwardness. So here is what I am going to change in my onboarding process. After the consultation, at the end of the consultation, I am going to tell the client that I am going to put together, based on my notes, I'm going to work and put together a personalized proposal for their project. It's going to take a few days because there's a lot of factors that I need to pull in so I can put together a very accurate and personalized design fee proposal. And then I say, I'd like to schedule a circle back call for us to review that over Zoom. This is something that I've learned from multiple teachers in the last few months that I think is freaking brilliant. It's a brilliant sales technique. I believe that Nikki Rausch talked about that on our episode of the podcast where we talked about sales. Who else talks about that? Rachel Johannesson talks about that. Like, it's just such a great tip, especially for a luxury service like we offer. So what I'm going to do is say, I'd like to schedule a circle back Zoom call. Let's open our calendars right now and get that scheduled. And if for some reason you can't schedule it then and there, you say, I'm going to follow up with an email to schedule our circle back Zoom call so that we can review the proposal together. And then on the day that you're having that Zoom call to review the proposal, you can send them the proposal right before the meeting. And then you hop on Zoom. They're likely going to show up because you have scheduled it in the calendar, if they're at all interested. And of course, they're going to be interested because they spent the money to have you come to their house. They want to know what you're going to charge them. This way, too, you can gauge their reaction over Zoom in real time, which is almost as good as being in person, and tackle any objections head on. You can see how the price resonates with them. You can answer any questions because there's always questions. They will feel more open and willing to ask those questions than putting them into an email. So that is what I recommend. Then if they're like, yep, looks good, we want to go ahead, we're really excited to work with you, my office sends them two things. Well, actually, I will just tell you this. Our proposal and our contract are one and the same. I sell this inside our online store. We have an online store for our Power of Process students, and we sell a lot of templates and insider goodness. And one of the things is my contract. It's available there. Our contract and our proposal act as the same thing. It's changed a lot over the years, but it is still a proposal. Contract is one item. So what we will do, that will have been sent to them as the proposal. We've looked at that line by line, and everybody's happy and good. So then Alberto, my admin, will send the invoice, which is for 100% of the design fees. We take the money up front. We are teaching our clients to value us and to trust us. And then once they pay that, we say, great, once we receive payment, we will schedule trade day, which is the next step in our process. But we do not schedule that until they've paid. And sometimes weeks, if not months, will go by. I will not spend a minute on that project. I will not pay anyone on my team to work on that project until I have received the money. This is really important because you just never know people. You don't know what's going to happen. And God forbid something happens to them, or they change their mind, or they're like, you know what, we're going to do it next year. And your team has gone ahead and coordinated trades to go to their house, and you've spent some time scheduling. Oh, you got so excited. You started creating a concept board. You're like, this is a total shoe-in. This is going to be the best project ever. You can't recoup that money from them. So don't do anything until you get paid. Okay. That is, in a nutshell, our onboarding process. I mean, I didn't go into all the subtasks and tiny little things that we're doing behind the scenes, but I do hope that gives you a really great framework, a blueprint, if you will, for you to implement into your own design firm, or maybe just helps you kind of reassess and evaluate how you've been doing it. You know, I used to just answer the phone, and I would actually kind of panic when somebody wanted to talk about my design fee, because, like, here's the thing. I would never tell two people the same thing. It wasn't intentional. It was just that I was either busy, or I was like, hey, you know what, I'm going to tell them I charge $150 this time. But then I wouldn't remember who I told what to. There was no consistency, and I didn't have a process. So I wasn't following steps or phases. And so every project was different. I would make it up as I was going along. And so now it's a lot easier having a script, having everything written out and documented in the Google Drive inside a Google document, where it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Boom, you have everything you need to be consistent with every single lead. For those of you who are listening, who are Power of Process alumni, I do sell an entire onboarding bundle inside the POP online store. So you guys can go get that if you don't want to do it yourself. It has Canva templates for our About Us document, for our consultation pitch deck. I have a pitch that I use in the consultation where I have a visual slideshow essentially on my iPad. So you guys can get that. You can get my email templates and my checklist and process inside the shop. If you just want it done for you, it's there for you. But anybody else, all you need to do is write down what I said in today's episode, download those freebies, and you are off to the races. I hope that was helpful. Again, those other podcasts that I suggested you listen to were 62 is Consultations That Convert. Then 15 is Every Business Needs a Solid Process. So I walk through process in general, from the start to finish. And then Thalia Toha's episode number 22, Why Experience Matters More Than the Product You're Selling. I think it's a really good reminder to a lot of us to really button down that client experience, because how you start a project is going to inform the rest of your time with that client. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Shorty but goody. Hopefully you will establish your own onboarding process. If you haven't already, join us inside Designer Meetups Facebook group and let me know, have you tried these? Are you using my freebies? How is it going? And I do hope that if you haven't already joined us inside POP, I will be seeing you very soon. All right, guys, have a great day. This episode of Resilient by Design has been produced by Vera Marquez and edited by Abigail Circutella. Your host, of course, is yours truly, Rebecca Hay.